What up, families? Brother Wayne back again with another word. Today's word is about being courageous or being complicit. And so I got a couple definitions of those words. Courageous, not deterred by danger or pain, brave, willing to press forward regardless to the cost, not deterred, not stopped by danger or pain. Again, brave. And then complicit being involved with others in an illegal activity or wrongdoing. You may not necessarily be the one who initiated the wrongdoing, but you're going along for the ride. You're benefiting from this illegal or this unjust doings. And so I've had the opportunity over the last couple of weeks to sit down with some leaders in the community, people of influence and affluence, and I've seen at times an unwillingness to make a decision. Um, and a lot of times I believe it's out of fear that it may cost them, that they may be canceled. And though I can appreciate their situation, I still think that they got to make a decision, that God has placed some of us in spaces strategically so that whatever issue may come across our desk and the buck would stop there, that we would be responsible and we would do what's right and just. The problem again, that it may cost us. And again, with people that's courageous, they don't care about the cost. They're not deterred by danger or pain or cost. They're going to do what's right. And so I just respect that. I respect that from our leaders. And when I thought about that, I was thinking about the Bible account of Esther, this young lady who had an opportunity to speak up about a wrongdoing. For those who are not familiar with that Bible story account, Esther was an orphan. Her parents died young. She lived with her uncle. Her uncle had placed her in a position to become queen. And actually, I'll take that back. It wasn't her uncle. I really believe. And the Bible even said that the favor of God was on her life, that God had worked the miracle, that this young lady went from peasant to princess to queen. And so the Bible speaks of her in Esther chapter 4 as Queen Esther. And so here she is in this prominent place, and a situation jumps off where there's a man in the king's army named Haman that hates the Jews, and he seeks to annihilate them. And the king doesn't know that Esther's a Jew. She didn't put that in her resume. And so when Haman comes with this idea to annihilate the Jews and the king fall for it for whatever reason, Mordecai, her uncle, who's not really having these interaction with Esther on a day-to-day basis anymore, begins to mourn that his people group, who's probably already been oppressed to a degree, is now finna be annihilated. There's finna be this genocide. And so Mordecai begins to mourn at the king's gate, and Esther hears of her uncle at the gate. And so I'm gonna pick up in Esther chapter 4 where this story is at. It says, when Mordecai learned of all that had been done, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city, wailing loudly and bitterly. My man's probably is another one that's courageous, right? He is not going to be silent about what's going to happen to his people group. He probably could try to pull his uncle card and say, Esther, this is about to pop off. Can you snatch up your auntie and uncle and let us be safe up in the palace? But my man's don't do that. He goes out in public and makes a decree and saying, hey, something is about to happen. So my man is in public and he's weeping loudly and bitterly. And verse 2 says, but he only went as far as the king's gate, because no one's clothed in sackcloth was allowed to enter it. In every province in which this edict and order of the king came, the edict to kill the Jews, there was great mourning among the Jews with fasting, weeping, and wailing. Many lay in sackcloth and ashes. Verse 4 says, when Esther, eunuchs, and female attendants came and told her about Mordecai, she was in great distress, like trying to figure out what's going on with my uncle. So she sent clothes for him to put on instead of his sackcloth, but he wouldn't accept them. He would not accept a superficial gift. Not that Esther was doing that intentionally, but I believe sometimes even, the enemy would work through people. And if Mordecai would have took these clothes, it would have been a payment on his soul to shut up. And I just want to speak against that type of behavior, that as there's this rumbling in your gut that there's a cause that you're supposed to be standing up for, that we don't sell out. We don't take the clothes. No, we continue to stand like Mordecai did. He says, sorry, niece, don't need the clothes. I need something else from you, though. And so here it is, verse 5. It says, then Esther summoned Haddock, one of the king's eunuchs assigned to attend to her, ordered him to find out what was troubling Mordecai and why, right? If he would have took the clothes, they would have never got to that point of them trying to figure out what was really going on. And so Haddock went out to Mordecai in the open square of the city in front of the king's gate. Mordecai told him everything that happened to him, including the exact amount of money Haman had promised for the annihilation of the Jews. He also gave him a copy of the edict of the annihilation, which was being published in Susa, to show to Esther and explain to her. And he told him to instruct her to go into the king's presence, to beg for mercy and plead with him for her people. He gave her clear instruction. This is what I need from you, niece. You in this spot, you got the king's ear. Go beg for mercy for your people, for our people. And so my man Haddock went back and reported to Esther what Mordecai said. Verse 10, it says, then she instructed to say to Mordecai, she says, look, this is the situation I'm dealing with. All the king's officials and the people of the royal province know that for any man or woman who approaches the king in an inner court without being summoned, without permission, if I can't just walk up on my man's spot, that I need permission. He said, because if I do, there's only one law, that person be put to death unless the king extends the gold scepter. So she says, I hear what you're saying, but this might cost me my life. And I believe that's where we are today. Leaders in a place of prominence that needs to do what's right, regardless to political affiliation, regardless to your race, your income level. All of these classes that we've been put in, regardless to all of those things, denomination, church denomination, affiliation, you and I have been given a task to do what's right. The question is, are we willing to sacrifice those people groups that we so admire at times, right? We're part of, everybody want to be part of a group. And the stuff that comes along with it, right? She's the queen. You know what I'm saying? She got bling bling. She got whatever needs to be had. She got it. And her uncle right now is challenging her to risk that for other people. And that's the question that many of us are dealing with today. In the business arena, in churches, in schools, families, seeing stuff, but not saying anything. What are you going to do? So she breaks down like, you know what I'm saying? I can't do this unless the king calls me, and he ain't called me in 30 days. Verse 12 says, when Esther words reported back to Mordecai, he sent back this word to her. Do not think because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. Don't get it twisted. Like, you think you can hide in that place of privilege, that this drama or harm won't land on your doorstep. You think that you can buy your way out. You think that you can be covered by your class. No, 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 he says. He says, for if you remain silent at this time, maybe last time was cool, but if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. God has many ways of seeing this thing through. Some of this stuff I'm paraphrasing. You have to read it if you want, the unedited version. He says, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows, but that you may have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Could it be strategic that God has put you in a place to be able to make a decision? Sometimes we think it's our own wit and our own charisma that got us to a place. It's our grind, it's our hustle. And we got some of that. No shade thrown nowhere. I mean, it takes hard work and determination. But sometimes it takes some luck, right? And meeting the right people. And there's a blessing, fortunateness that's needed to a degree for us to get where we've arrived. Some of us who came from the gutter, right? Or even some of y'all who ever started on top. You was born in the right family. Ain't like you did something to deserve that, right? And so here we are in these positions, and we see stuff that's probably wrong and unjust, and we don't say anything because it may cost us. So I'm calling us out today to be courageous at all times, regardless to what other people will think. And so, going back to Esther, this is her situation. 15, chapter 4, verse 15 says, then Esther said to Mordecai, go gather all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days. And basically, he's seeking the Lord. Help. She said, if you want me to do this, I need your commitment. And I think that likewise, we should be committed to back those who are speaking on behalf of the people who are courageous, that they need our support, not only financially or physically or whatever the case may be, but for sure spiritually, praying for these people, that God will have mercy and guide them through these situations. And she says, I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king. Even though it's against the law. This ain't never been done before. And if I perish, I perish. That's gangster. That's courageous. So my friends, I just encourage you today, as these situation opportunities come before you, don't be complicit. Don't be involved in this illegal activity, this wrongdoing, silent. No, speak up. Be courageous and trust God that he'll take care of you. I hope to get back to you soon with the rest of the story of Esther. But until then, this is Words of Wayne. And I'm out.